Hi guys, welcome back to Byte Review. It's 2019, which means it's time for me to show you around my desk setup for content creation this year. Not a huge amount has changed since last time, but there's been some really important updates which makes me more productive while I work, and a few more creature comforts to keep me happy while I'm working in this space. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So let's get started with the desk. This is an IKEA classic. So on the right hand side we've got a trestle, on the left hand side we've got the Alex drawer unit, and on top is a kitchen worktop called Carby. Now for all of those that have been asking, and I've had so many questions about this, the trestle is actually 1 centimetre higher than the Alex drawer unit, but the Alex drawer unit does come with these tiny little rubber risers which brings everything up to level, so you don't have to worry about that. If I'm honest, I actually lost a few of those little risers and it's been completely fine. The desk isn't being held together by anything, it's actually all completely loose, but that's actually been completely fine. The weight of my computer, the weight of everything else on here just holds everything solid, and I'm not concerned at all about the structural integrity or anything like that. It really has been solid. I absolutely love this desk. It's been the centerpiece of this setup for a couple of years now, and it's absolutely huge. It's really great for spreading out, fantastic for shooting B-roll, and I also like taking product photography here too. The office space itself is just a smallish second room in my flat, and you might have noticed that I am a really huge fan of hanging art on the walls and sometimes using it within my videos. Whether it's from some of my favourite films or just some really awesome illustrations, they really add a sense of personality to the room, and I really think it's something that you should do yourself too. Being able to make artwork like this has always been really appealing to me, and I have a huge amount of respect for people with those specific creative skills. And that's where I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with over 25,000 lessons, with everything ranging from photography, filmmaking, graphic design to business and more. It's not crazy expensive either. At less than $10 a month, you'll have access to everything Skillshare has to offer. So there's really never been a better time to learn something completely new or just to develop your skills further. I've been learning the basics of Procreate on my iPad Pro and learning to draw digitally. It's been really fun to see some of my favourite characters come to life, and the lessons I've been following have been fun and informative. So if you're interested in joining the 7 million other creators out there learning with Skillshare, be sure to check the link in my description below. The first 500 people to use the link will get 2 months of Skillshare on the house. So whether you want to fuel your creativity, curiosity, or even career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving in 2019. A huge shout out goes to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and for supporting me here at Byte Review. As for the main computer, I'm still rocking my custom build. It's had a few updates that are quite important since last time though. The first of which is an extra 16GB of RAM, which brings it up to 32GB, which is great when I've got lots of stuff on the go, especially if you've got Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects open, it all adds up. I've also upgraded the cooler to a Kraken water cooler from NZXT, but to be honest, I picked it up for looks more than anything. The most useful and probably biggest upgrade though is the addition of an M2 SSD. This is a Western Digital 256GB one, and it was pretty cheap at about £35, but it has been fantastic for keeping current video projects on it or photography work. It's really great for those high speed transfer rates, and while I'm working on any projects, it's nice to have it all just on one drive so I'm not looking for stuff all the time. Other than that, this is the same computer, so I've still got the GTX 1070 Ti and the Intel i7-7700K processor, which for me has been pretty fantastic. For the monitor, I've gone back to using the BenQ EW3270U. I did dabble with a 120Hz curved gaming monitor, but to be honest, I don't really game anymore, and having that resolution of the 4K screen was just more important to me. It's not perfect by any means, the bezels are a little chunky, and you have to sit in the sweet spot for colour accuracy, but for all the stuff I've been doing, it has been really great. Another upgrade I've made, and I'm sure you'll all be very happy to know, is that I've moved on from the sound sticks and their somewhat questionable design to some lovely Ruark Audio MR1 Mark II speakers. These things sound absolutely stunning and the style of them really fits with my setup. They are expensive, there's no getting around that, but for me nothing else has quite measured up. I even tried the Audio Engine A2 Pluses, but for me they just didn't sound as good, so I ended up returning them. My favourite addition to my setup though is the pegboard, which I have mounted on the wall next to my desk. I was eyeing this thing for ages and I didn't go for it because I didn't want to start hammering stuff into the wall, but I'm really glad I did. It's from IKEA, of course, and the really great thing about it is it's totally modular, so all the things you see on it can be changed around as much as you like. IKEA do a really great range of hooks and bungees and little shelves and little kind of holders which you can use in any way you want to hang up what you like. I mainly use it for hanging up artwork or pictures that I've taken. It's also good for adding another plant to the area, and the hooks are great for hanging up cables that I'm always reaching for. Not to mention, I really love the way it looks and it serves as a great place for product B-roll. So yeah, this is the pegboard from IKEA. It is fantastic and I really highly recommend it. As for lighting, I get asked about this neon sign all of the time. I actually picked it up from eBay quite a while ago and I haven't managed to find one since, although I'm sure if you search hard enough you will be able to pick one up. I love this thing though, and I don't have it mounted. I actually keep it loose so I can move it around. I use it in videos all the time, and I'm sure if you've been watching my channel for a while, you would have seen it crop up in loads and loads of different videos. Weirdly, if there's one thing that's defined the look of my videos, it is this sign. The pink glow is so strong that it works its way into pretty much everything you shoot, even if that's photography or videography. And I've kind of ran with that, letting that pink just kind of seep into all the work that I've done. That worked really well for me. It might not work well for you, so if you are thinking about picking one up, then do be careful. That glow is really strong and it might just work its way into all of your stuff as well. Rounding off the lighting, I have this Tommons desk lamp. I actually have a few of these dotted around the flat because I really like the way they look. They've got this clean and minimal IKEA look to them, which is obviously right up my street. And I think this one sits on the desk really nicely. It's white and pine too, so it just fits into the look of my desk pretty seamlessly. I've actually upgraded the bulb in there to an RGB smart one, so I can have any color I like. Sometimes when you're working into the wee hours of the morning, it's good to have like a blue hue to it or something like that rather than a bright white light. And being able to control that on your smartphone is super useful as well. Keyboard and mouse wise, things haven't changed in ages. I've been really happy with what I've got. For a keyboard, I've been using the Microsoft Surface Bluetooth keyboard. This is pretty much the closest you can get to using an Apple style keyboard on a Windows PC. And I think it's really great. The key travels a lot more than what you get out of the current Apple ones. And the look is nice and clean and kind of crisp. I'm a big fan of this keyboard and I don't plan on changing it anytime soon. For the mouse, I'm still using the Logitech MX Master. I haven't felt the need to upgrade to the MX Master 2, although I know that's a fantastic mouse. It's nice and comfortable, there's lots of customization, and the scrolly wheel on the side is really useful for things like video editing. Behind me, I still have the ladder style shelf which has all of my camera equipment on it and everything else I need for making videos. It's really good to have it unpacked all the time as opposed to packed up. It means I can just turn around, grab something and turn back to the desk and start making content. On the top shelf, I keep my Sony a7 III, which I've recently upgraded to. Don't worry, there'll be a video about that coming soon. On the second shelf, I have all the lenses. I picked up some nice Zeiss glass recently, which I would love to talk to you for hours about, but I can save that for another time. Underneath that, I've got a few analog cameras and some other bits and bobs like batteries and chargers, and below that is just a simple camera case. The shelf itself actually came from B&M, which is a discount store here in the UK, so I can't link you to it online, but if you search for ladder shelf, I'm sure you'll find something along those lines. It's actually supposed to be for a bathroom to hold things like toilet roll, but I think it works really fantastically in the office to hold things such as camera equipment. So that pretty much rounds up everything that's new and everything that stayed the same with my desk setup. I think it's really important to have a space that you're really happy to work in. Taking pride in a setup is a strange thing to do, but I know for a fact I wouldn't be as happy or as productive working in a space that just didn't feel like it was my own. And that's what's important here. It's a little haven away from everything else, which I can just work in and make some cool stuff. And at the end of the day, that's what I love doing, and this space helps me do that. So that rounds off this video. If you enjoyed it, pop a like. If you loved it, pop a sub, and I will hopefully see you all in the next one.